मातृरूपेण संस्थिता नमस्तस्यै 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 नमो नमः। नमस्कार मु आरजे शुभश्री आपण समस्त को 90.4 सोआ रेडियो परिवार तरफ दुर्गा पूजार ढेर सारा अभिनंदन। नारी हेउछि अनन्या ता मनरे थाई अनेक आशा एवं स्वप्न से सब को पूरण करबा लागि ता जीवन रे अनेक संघर्ष मध्य सामना करबा को पड़े किंतु सबरी परे से निज पई तयारी करे गोटे स्वतंत्र एवं नुआ परिचय समाज को भेटी दिए गोटे नुआ सकाळ जो सकाळ रे समस्ते आलोकित हुअंती। तेणु नारी होछि ए समाज पई गोटे प्रेरणा जहाद्वारा समस्ते प्रेरित हुअंती एवं आगु को बढ़ंती जार पणत कानी रे गढ़ा हुए अनेकंकर जीवन। स्वागत जणे आरंभ करूछु आजिर शारदीय उपस्थापना महिमामयी नारी अस्मितार प्रतिफलन। आज आम सहित जोड़ी होइछंती जणे खास अतिथि मिनती साबत मैनेजिंग डायरेक्टर ऑफ मदर्स पब्लिक स्कूल एवं उपस्थापना करिवे रिया रेशम बारी। तेबे चलंतु तांको आजिर कार्यक्रम को स्वागत करिबा।
Thank you Subhashri for the wonderful introduction. Namaskar, मेरा नाम है रिया रेशम बारी and today I have the very wonderful Mrs. Minati Sabat with us, who's the managing director of Mothers Public School. Welcome Minati to our show today.
Thank you for having me here.
Most welcome. So let's begin with your childhood. How was your childhood like? Did you grow up with siblings and you, because you are from Bhubaneswar and you've grown up here, so we would like to know a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I was born here in Odisha, in Cuttack. When I was just 3 months old, my my father got transferred to Bangalore. So I was there for briefly about 8 years in Bangalore, and then I was back to Bhubaneswar. So my schooling is mostly here in Bhubaneswar. I was a student of Mothers Public School as well.
Oh!
So, yes, and I have 2 siblings, I have 2 brothers. And the younger one is settled here, and my older one is in Bangalore.
How were you as a person? Like, just wanted to see that, were you this quiet little girl, or, were you like always extrovert?
Yes, no, actually, to be honest, I've been a very quiet person in general. I'm not an extrovert or an introvert. I would somewhere say I'm an ambivert, where I just open up to people I'm very close to. And otherwise, I'm just a very quiet person. I just talk whatever is needed to be talked.
When did you start? How old were you when you started
So I was 20 when I started working.
And was that your first?
That was my first job.
Wow.
Kingfisher Airlines. I was a ground staff then, because then we in Bhubaneswar, Kingfisher had just launched. And I was lucky enough to get through. I really love this aviation industry, and I was lucky enough to get through, working there. And then I got into telecom. I was working for Airtel and then Uninor. So for me, it has always been, I've always been a part of the corporate world.
Yeah.
So for me, that really helped me and my, I would say, personality in a way, where meeting people, being into the service industry really helped me, coming up. And
it's not easy, being working with airlines. How did you transition into education sector?
So this was again, I would say, I had a very strong woman in my life, my mother-in-law. I got married to this family. And obviously my husband was a part of Mothers, and that's how I got into the school. And I would say I've just been plain lucky that ways. And as we all know, Mothers has its own name. We are not that fancy school where we have infrastructures and other fancy things. We were just into academics, and we're still into academics.
Yeah.
So that is our USP.
Mothers was started since a very long time. I think that's the reason why it's still intact with its, principles.
So I was the 3rd batch of Mothers. Okay.
Oh my God.
So I've seen it grow through, how it's grown. And the school started with 17 children, and we were, a part of those 17 children when it started.
I can't imagine. It's all. This could be a movie, where you're studying in this school, and then suddenly there's a transition, and you're like,
after when I came back from corporate, I'd not joined mothers, but I was frequenting mothers because I used to go and see my mother-in-law sometimes. I was seeing the change, the building coming up. I've seen in and out of that school. So I've seen it grow. And then I would say last 15 years, we've been doing very good results. And when I started, there was, we were hardly paying 200 rupees as fees and all that. It was, and for her, it was never, she never thought into, making money or something. For her, it was just a school. She wanted to build a school.
Amazing.
So, and we still follow that, the ideology that she still has, we still do that. Yeah, of course, with changing times, we need to, upgrade ourselves. But even today, if anybody wants, they can just walk into the school and come and meet us. There is no barrier. There is nobody in between that. You just go to the office and you tell them that they tell you that they want to meet us. They can come to our rooms directly.
Oh, that's so nice.
So that's one thing that we don't believe in, that making barriers and not having the access to talk to people is not something that we believe in. We are open to everything, every feedback, everything.
That's so nice. How did you manage it then? Because again, like making students study online, and that was a whole different game.
Yes, absolutely. Students were
Students
okay.
and teachers. You have to tell the teachers.
So I'll tell you, we still have teachers who have taught me.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's like 30 years now, and we still have them. And then the teachers were very different. They are more emotionally connected rather than being real teachers. Okay, so then when we had teachers, they were literally not having the the background to teach. They just wanted to teach. They were real teachers. Out of passion. Okay, no degrees and all that. Now you have to hire them because that's a rule of the CBSE and all. You cannot have. Then it was just out of passion. So those teachers, imagine 30 years back, and now getting into technology was not so easy for them. For students nowadays, even my son can just scroll and find anything he wants to. But for them, it was a challenge for them. But still, we managed, and hats off to them. They actually, they managed COVID of 1.5 years. They managed online classes. But yeah, for us, after coming back to school, the offline school, it was really tough, more tough than being online.
I don't think a lot of people could ask somebody until and unless they have like a teacher who's like in their family, if they know somebody. So that was,
that was
tough.
Yes, that was tough. You would see children actually switching off the camera and going off to sleep, or reading, or checking their mobile phones. So, but you can't really do much because you're on the screen. You can't really and checking homeworks, and a lot of,
and even exams were held online.
Exams were held. You never know if they actually so. It's a learning again. I mean, we had to face that. It was a phase that we all went through.
I feel like we were quite lucky that, we...
Absolutely. I mean, for us, even if I would say we didn't have those degreed teachers, but we had that emotional connect.
Yes.
We I remember during our 10th farewell, we used to cry. I mean, we could never leave the school and go. So all that, I've been lucky that I'm still in touch with my teachers because we all work together now. So, it's kind of a little embarrassing for me also sometimes, but I feel very lucky to be associated to them.
But again, that's not something that a lot of women can say, that, I'm still working with my own teachers.
Yes.
Most of the time what happens is we choose one thing and we believe that now that I've chosen it, this is it. Yeah. This is exactly what I'm going to do.
I'll tell you a small incident that happened when I joined school. After my wedding, I think we stay home for 10 days and then you come out. So that was the first day for me when I entered school, as a daughter-in-law. And so we have this reception area where parents come for inquiry and all. And Polly ma'am, my mother-in-law, would tell me that, okay, you'll sit here and you get the inquiries done. And so I was like, I'll sit here because for me it was okay, I'm the daughter-in-law, I should be getting a separate room and all. It was just a thought. So she made me sit in the reception, and I sat there for almost 2 months. and I was taking all the queries and I was trying to solve them also, and that was the biggest learning that I had. I thank her for that. That because of that, it really showed me how things work really and what are the concerns, how our parents,
like the ground reality.
The ground reality. You really learn from the raw.
Yeah.
And so it was an amazing experience. Back then, if I sit here now and think about it, it was really needed.
What are the changes that you have, you've tried to, bring in, or you've given your part?
Yeah. First thing first was I set up the office, because that's when a person walks in, and that is everything. The first impression lasts. So I had to set up the entire office and set up rules, especially. So whatever I learned in the corporate, I tried to replicate it in the school, and that really helped. My mother-in-law was very happy then. Said, in fact, she knew, starting from basic mail IDs, you have to have the corporate mail ID for that. So I started with that, so that the communication is clear. Then leave rules and all that. So all that, I got into the system, and it's still there. It's working really well, and so for me that was a game changer.
You had a nice background of corporate, so
yes.
I think that everything just aligned with
like the training programs that I could do for the teachers, for the admin staff and all that. So first thing is, everyone needs to be absolutely humble and kind. That is the first thing that you need to learn. So I tried to incorporate all that for my office staff and for my teachers. So all that I tried to get into the school from the corporate world.
So how is mothers working for that?
So when a child comes to our school, I'll tell you, we mostly cater to the middle class and the lower middle class family, where they really don't look into much of a fancy thing in the school. For them, they have to have a good degree, they have to have good academic degrees and get into a good institute, and so that is how they come into the picture. Of course, we have our other aspects of school where we focus a lot into games. Our school is has the best basketball coach. So emotional, I would say. It is always a teacher-student connect, where you emotionally get associated to. And for us, like I told you, I'm still very close to the teachers I was associated.
I mean, it's not a school for excellent kids. It's a school where the school produces excellent people.
Yes,
that
and
would
that's
be
been there for quite some years now, and we strive to continue it for the coming years as well, because our focus is completely different. And our students are also, I would say, we filter the students every year. We have an entrance test, even if they've scored 100 out of 100, but our entrance exam is the the Lakshman Rekha.
My God.
Because our question papers are our USP. So if you actually usko par kar liya, to you can actually get into any school. So I have parents also who come and say that, okay, entrance exam में हमें mothers का question एक बार देखना है, फिर और कोई school में भी हम लोग जा सकते हैं. So it's like that.
It's really nice to have a school where you're caring for the students as much as
Yes. So mothers really does take care of their children, and now we have 5 branches already we have 3 in Bhubaneswar, 1 in Puri and 1 in Cuttack. A lot of work. Yes. But we have an entire setup of teachers. We have counselors in all the schools, and we individually go to all the schools also, when required. So yeah, I mean, it's a lot of work, I would say, but yeah, when you give your heart and soul to something, you just know things are working for you.
When you look at yourself, like when you're in that position, how do you see yourself that you've come so far, and is there something that you would have done it differently, like when you look back, or is there a message that you think that, had I had that message before, I would have probably done it?
I would say if I really look back, if I have to correct anything or add anything or do something differently, no, I would not. I wouldn't say those were struggles, but those were learnings. And for me, every phase of my life there was something to learn, to accept, to adapt, I would say. And it's brought in me that resilience to actually look forward to more challenges is okay, I mean, I would say. But yeah, I wouldn't change a thing about it.
Something that was practiced with you, like were...
Yeah, my parents?
Yeah?
My parents never forced me. Yeah, they knew that exam time you have to study. They would just tell me. But they never made me sit and do that. You cannot do this, you cannot watch TV. They never told me all this. I've grown up in an environment where both my parents were very progressive, I would say. Yeah, they had their own restrictions and all that. But if I really have to go back and think, now they were very progressive that time. So yeah, so I would never insist my son to do. What I would eventually want him to be is, humble and kind.
What is your wellness secret? How do you take care of yourself?
Okay, so first thing first is I would want my 7 hours of sleep. So I've set my son also accordingly. So he sleeps, and immediately while putting him to sleep, I also sleep. So morning I wake up, I work out.
Nice.
So I work out in the morning, and then my trainer comes like 3 times a week. And other than that, I would say these are the physical aspects of keeping myself well. But other than that, I don't stress about things. I really don't.
If you can just look back, like when we ask you about things and then you are looking back and you realize so much that I've really come so far, and then yes, I have a long way to go, but then this will push you to that agar main itna aage aa chuki hu na, then I can
but
achieve.
Yes, again I would say thank you, because a woman only can empower another woman.
Yes,
so,
I truly believe in that.
Yes. So thank you for having me here.
Thank you.
And it's been a pleasure.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
आज आमर एही विशेष उपस्थापन रे जोड़ी हिथिले अतिथि भावरे मिनती साबत, मैनेजिंग डायरेक्टर ऑफ मदर्स पब्लिक स्कूल, उपस्थापना करुथिले रिया रेशमबारी। आज अतिथि को एवं उपस्थापिका को मु बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद दबा को चाहूची। वर्तमान तो समय हेलानी आज कार्यक्रम को एठी समाप्ति करिवार विदाय नै रहुची। पुणी थरे आपण मानक पाखकु नै आसीबी आउ गोटे नुआ अध्याय। सेथि पर्यंत सुनुथांतु 90.4 सोआ रेडियो।